The cover-up started to become necessary in May of 1929 when a woman named Anna Perskowski was a former Johns-Manville employee, and she filed a lawsuit against Johns-Manville for injuries that she sustained. Here is, on the next slide, the actual portion of the lawsuit where it states what Johns-Manville did wrong. And this is very similar to what we would file in a lawsuit today, which would be failing to provide the plaintiff with a safe place to work, failing to provide the plaintiff with masks or other appliances, and failing to have a proper ventilation system. And at this time, the plaintiff was demanding the sum of $30,000. $30,000 in 1929 was quite a lot of money. It was, depending on the inflation calculators you could look at, it was at least several $100,000 of today's money. Now, this was the first lawsuit that was filed against Johns-Manville by an employee, but it was not the last. Now, the attorney named Samuel Greenstone filed a number of lawsuits against Johns-Manville, and you can see the first one here was Miss Perskowski, I believe it's pronounced, and the last one was all the way down in 1932. So the total damages that Mr. Greenstone sought for his clients was $690,000, which in today's money is anywhere from 10 to 15 million, depending on which inflation calculator that you go with. Now, 1929 to 1932, it was a long time ago, but these events, as important as they were to Johns-Manville, were not the most important events of the day. That would have been something else that happened in 1929, which was the stock market crash. And we've pulled out a newspaper from the Pittsburgh Press with some of the information about the crash that caused the Great Depression. Panic has wrecked the stock exchange, and New York is frenzied. New York is also where Johns-Manville was headquartered. But notice that Mr. Greenstone was filing lawsuits very consistently, and then his last one in 1929 was filed October 9th, and the crash came on October 24th. Then there was a pause in the filing. Now, I can only surmise that the pause in the filing had to do with the changing financial conditions both of the country and of Johns-Manville as a whole. Let's look at this now. This is a chart that's pulled from a corporate history book published in the late 40s about Johns-Manville. And you can see, I mean, this is a very bad trend line. It started to get a little bit better, but by 1932, Johns-Manville was starting to be in some serious trouble. You can look at their net sales. In 1929, they're at $61 million. I don't know how much that is in today's money, but it's a lot. Then the next year, 1930, 49 million, down to 33 million, then $20 million. The company is just seeing its revenue crater. And in fact, they didn't exceed $61 million in revenue again until 1941, and that was only due to the war effort. So as you think about this cover-up that's going on, that's about to start, and you think about the millions of dollars of today's dollars of cases that are pending against the company, the Great Depression is going on, their revenue is just in bad shape. This is a big problem for the company because this is just a few of their employees that are suing, and they had thousands of employees. Had they let this information get public, the wave of lawsuits that likely would have followed could have crushed the company and put it out of business. Again, absolutely does not excuse the terrible actions of any of these people, but it at least explains it in a more nuanced and subtle way than just these were bad men doing bad things. It is a more complicated picture than that, but they did do bad things.